Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out something called Bayou by developer Dreamfeel. It is self-described as a minimalist ink-drawn swamp horror game, which is a very haughty bunch of titles I think to sling around, but honestly it's a very pretty little experience, and honestly there's also not a whole lot to say that isn't already spoken through the images that fall before us. So we're going to be driving around our little boat through the swamps of Louisiana, I presume, looking for a big ol' alligator that we need to slay via this big spear. So we only get one shot to do this, and if we botch it, well, that's kind of the end of things. Oh, there's a bird up there. That's kind of cool. And this is very much a graphical experience. I'm not sure this is one of those games that you would play so much for the action gameplay. This is more for the ambience, for the exploratory qualities, and just being in the vibe of the moment, taking in what we're looking at. And I'm getting sort of a sense of maybe a little bit of like the Okami sensibility from the ink-drawn art element, and also this crazy filter that's going on in the background, sort of giving us a hint of the chaos of the rain that's falling down in front of us. Oh, the crocodile's right there! Oh, can I turn around? I think it just knocked into me. Alright, I'm gonna try and turn real fast and see if maybe it'll pop up again. There it goes. Can I follow it? Oh god, the boat! It's turning so fast! So you move your head independently of where you're steering the boat, and obviously the lantern only illuminates a small portion of your viewpoint, so it's a bit of a conundrum trying to find what direction you need to face in, especially when the thing you're hunting is actually going under the water all the time. Is that it off in the distance? I'm pretty sure that's it. It's moving about as fast, if not slightly faster, than I can boat around. So I'm going to hope that it'll come back this way again, otherwise I don't know what I'm going to do. They also don't give you like a test shot or anything, and I did actually try throwing this once before I started recording just to make sure I didn't make a complete fool of myself, and trust me, that'll still happen real soon. But what happens when you throw the spear, I was expecting it to basically go where your dead center of your screen would be, sort of like a reticle or something, but it just kind of flops into the water, so you got to make sure you're super in range. Like, I mean, you gotta be right on top of this thing for you to have any chance at hitting it, and I'm not entirely sure if I'll have that opportunity or not. It's gonna be a little hit or miss, which is maybe a little punny of me to say. Oh, geez, I've been knocked into again. I'm imagining this wouldn't take very much to be adapted into, like, the Moby Dick simulation indie game where you're hunting a whale. And I think there could actually be a very cool story that could be told in that whole process as well. Maybe a survival boating game about quelling your obsession. Oh, there it is over on the right. Alright, I've been very into, apparently, games with big old forest scapes. Whether or not they have snow at the bottom, or water, or otherwise also snow again. Oh man, it ran right into me again. It's just toying with me. I don't think it wants to necessarily get me right away. Wants to give me a few chances to throw the spear, and once you throw the spear, I think it's pretty much just over. It doesn't seem like there's much else you can do after that, unless something changes after a while of just boating around in solitude. I didn't give it all that much time, to be honest. After I threw the spear, I think I boated around for about another 40 seconds before I quit the game. But it would seem to me like there should be some kind of alternate something that happens if you miss, because that's just it, right? Like, what... You should at least prompt you to start over, right? Otherwise, you're just going to be boating around until maybe this thing eats you. Not entirely sure. There are also some stars if we look around up into the sky here. They're actually present before it becomes stormy night, but it's actually sort of just inverted. So when it's, you know, light out, I'm not sure it's necessarily light, it's just inverted darkness. So I guess you could kind of say that all light is inverted darkness, but, you know, that's not really where I'm trying to go with this philosophical take on the presence or non-presence of light waves. I don't know. Where are we in terms of Crocodilo Land or Alligator Land? I don't see one around, and I think I'm about to... Oh, alright, well, I hit that tree technically, but it's thankfully made of Sprite. Not the soda, but like Sprite effects. Sprite drawings. So it basically just turns in place. I could actually just boat right into this. That would be a whole different level, actually, if you had to make sure you weren't crashing your boat into a whole bunch of obstacles on the way, or getting yourself stuck on a rock where Mr. Alligator Man can come and eat your head. That'd be a real sad turn of events. So I don't seem to be getting in range very well. Are we even around anywhere? Kind of seems to me like the most obvious thing to do is just kind of boat in figure eights, because you want to keep your viewpoint moving. The problem with that idea, though, and it's a pretty big problem, is that the amount of time it takes for you to recuperate from making a hard right or left turn is quite long, and when you're trying to track a moving object, such as something that can also swim under the water, you really need to be able to turn on a dime to be able to just keep tracking it. So it would be very lovely if we could do this in, like, better weather, but, you know, that's not really the alligator's forte, I guess, and the hunt would be a little too easy then, I suppose. I was kind of hoping there'd be more little details. I really enjoyed that there was a bird before, but, like, having the moon or something overhead somewhere to at least give you a little bit of a sense of perspective as to which direction you're going in would be kind of handy. But, you know, I guess we could just say, well, in some ways I was going to say we could just say it's heavy cloud cover, but, you know, we've got some constellations going on overhead, so I guess it's not that. The moon is just sadly too low in the sky this evening or something. I'm not really sure what the excuse is. Or why we don't have multiple lamps. That would actually be really handy, too. If we put one on the back of the ship, we could actually see in both directions. But I guess, you know, spur-of-the-moment decision. We're going to go alligator hunting in the rain with our one single spear weapon. And there's no signs of land. So, you know, if we do get trapped in some insurmountable position, well, that's just kind of the end of our lives. I guess we're sort of disposable as far as our player character goes. Mr. Alligator, could you please not swim so far away from me? I'm trying my best here. This is as fast as I can go. The controls are not really as hospitable as I'd like for going quickly, but, you know, it's also a boat in the bayou. I don't really know how fast I expect to. I guess you could have a motorboat or something, but I wouldn't really necessarily expect that to be a thing. I would really like to take the shot here with this spear if we could, like, be in the same general proximity for about 5 seconds. I don't need long to aim. I mean, once I get the zoom in thing going, it's just going to happen. The thing is, one throw is all I've had to practice the distance and trajectory that this goes at. We don't get like a Tiger Woods style golf swing mechanism to this throw. It's all or nothing. I get one shot, one click, and it's going to just dip into the water, and that's going to be the end of my life. If I could just maybe ride alongside here. I'm trying to get the sight lined up a little bit. Please stop being so fast. Or at least swim in my direction, ever. Always seems to be going parallel or away from me. I don't seem to ever get this luck that's necessary. Thankfully, though, it seems to stay in the range of my character forever. So no matter how far I boat in any direction, thankfully I'm not too far away from my objective, well, since it follows me. I do appreciate the diversity of tree stumps. Well, at least the fact that there's several tree stumps and not just one. Although, you know, a lot of the ones that seem to be pointed sort of like javelins toward the sky here do seem to be the same model. I can see they all have that same little bent crook towards the top there. Alright. Crocodile Man, are we going to do this? Or I keep exchanging whether it's alligator or crocodile. It's going to be alligator, if I'm not mistaken, if we're talking about the bayou. Well, I guess the bayou could mean a few different things. I think it's only in Florida that alligators and crocodiles are side by side like that. If you'll pardon my amazing boating skills, I crashed right through that tree. Man, thinking about that whole, like, Moby Dick idea kind of made me wish that there was such a thing out there, you know, like a first-person whale hunting simulation with actual, you know, biometrics involved and real choppy waves and physics and all that crazy stuff. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a group of people who call it into question for the sake of animal cruelty because we don't exactly harpoon whales that often anymore, I hope. Well, I don't want to get into that discussion, honestly, because probably we do that. But I've made myself a little bit willfully ignorant, which I agree is probably not the best thing, but I get very sad thinking about that type of thing. And yet I'm advocating a game. Well, I guess we're going to do it virtually. That's better than IRL, right? Okay, alligator, please. You're going to make me end this video never having thrown the spear at you. You're obviously a menace. Look at all the harm you're doing to the people around this bayou. All of your passively swimming around in various directions. You think we're just going to stand for that kind of business? Well, you're dead wrong, mister. I got a big old javelin headed straight for your back. If you're wondering why I don't just throw it right now, this is not gonna happen. It will just plop into the water about 5 feet away from my boat. So I'm not gonna waste the spear. I really want to make this count. But I'm having such terrible luck with getting this dude to swim at me. Please. I was kind of hoping if I did this long enough, it would eventually become daylight again, and maybe my vision range would be slightly increased or something like that. Well, honestly, it's not so much the vision range that's the problem here. It's just being able to boat fast enough. Can I employ a second person with an oar? This is when I hit spacebar and then realized that actually I could... No, I can't row the whole time. That was going to be really funny, though, if I did that and that happened. I am using all of my controls effectively to the best of my ability. Crocodile, alligator, whatever you are, you're gonna get this spear. Uh-oh. At this point, it's a little silly that he hasn't tried to kill me. Even just out of self-defense. I mean, there's only a couple of reasons why I'd be floating around his land for this long. Could we please? Sorry if I'm making you motion sick, by the way. Oh, there you are. I was just looking for the angle. How did you hit me and then get that far away? Are we hunting multiple beasts right now? Are we beast hunters? Are we monster hunting right now? Maybe I could power up and come back when I'm higher level in rowing skill, and maybe in spear throwing skill as well. Or harpoon throwing skill. I don't know what the proper nomenclature, that's when you eat inclatures? I don't know. What's the proper word for this tool that I'm using here? Is this a spear? Is this a harpoon? Is this a javelin? They're all like a big wooden dowel with a metal point at the end. Actually, I think the harpoon has a much more gradated blade that hooks back, so it's designed not to be pulled out. A spear, I think, has more like an arrowhead at the end, which can be used more for thrusting motions. I think the javelin, oh, I don't actually know. Maybe that's just a straight point? Listen to me, trying to make differentiations between 3 types of pole arms. Are they even considered pole arms? Well, I know at least one of them is. In an Indie Impressions episode. I don't know what I'm doing. All I want to do is throw this thing. This undescribable metal pole at this indescribable beast. In this indescribable bayou. In this indescribable boat. Featuring a lantern of dubious ability. This rain really is a drag, isn't it? It's got really good ambience, though. I'm definitely enjoying that it's putting us in this place. It's got a good sense of placement, I must say. Like I said, though, the noise filter, though, it does sort of get a little bit on my nerves after a while. It's only so long that you can look at it before you go, hey, that's kind of taking over most of my vision. Alright, well, where is it now? Let's swing drastically in one direction. And not see it at all. That seems to be how this goes. Apparently, it's quite a feat to run into this thing and actually be able to hunt it properly, so... well, at some point, I'm just eventually going to have to throw in both senses of the word, and I guess this is quite an accomplishment if you can actually pull off this hunt. Stop the beast from terrorizing the citizens of this poor bayou. Come on now. Nothing? Really? Oh, there it is. Is it? No, of course it's moving horizontally more than toward me, right? Well, this might be the best shot I get, so... I hit it! I hit it! Who would have expected that? Oh my goodness. My ship, I believe, is now flying into the sky. What have I done? Have I committed the ultimate act of terror against a fellow beast? The moral implications are vast. Oh my goodness, that's really pretty. Proteus reference here. Actually, the way they animate is a little Proteus-like. I'm fully expecting this game to just straight up quit at some point, so if that happens, well, you know how it goes. Oh, the music's really nice, too. What was this beast doing? Was it holding me down in the mortal coil? Is this a metaphorical beast? Did I just slay the thing holding me back from transcendence? That's kind of how it looks, doesn't it? Oh, I'm floating on a new plane now. Oh, there's a person over there. What does it all mean? Fade to white. Alright, well, it looks like that's going to be the end of Bayou. I was waiting, bracing for impact, just in case we were going to get dropped down on the desktop, because that just generally seems to be the way that these things tend to go. Thankfully, this developer did not feel that that was the correct decision for us, so thank you for that. I'd much rather just stay on the white screen. It's actually more impactful that way as well, I believe. It's not so much of a jarring impact of you just losing the window you were staring at, or the bright white screen in favor of maybe a dark black desktop if you have one. I have that myself. So that was actually a really cool experience. That was Bayou, and I would recommend you go try it out yourself, see if you can make the hunt happen. I mean, you've seen the ending at this point. Kind of left a few questions in my mind. I'd be curious to know what you guys think about that in particular. If you feel like there was maybe some metaphorical stuff going on, I wouldn't be inclined to disagree. But I also don't know if I have a lot of evidence necessarily lending credence to that belief, other than the fact that we literally rose up into the sky. Oh, there's thunder sounds now. I don't know if that's because I did something or waited long enough, or just the script is still running. Could mean anything. Maybe we're going to get dropped back into the pit of despair and have to fight another alligator for another 10 minutes. Who knows? Anyway, that was a fun experience. I hope you enjoyed it. Very atmospheric, very pretty. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and be sure to come back again tomorrow. New episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day. I will have a link for Bayou right in the description. You can play it right in your browser or download it, whichever you choose. It's a Unity game, so you won't have too many issues running it, hopefully. And it is scalable for various resolutions. So I will see you all again tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this, and have a fantastic night. Talk to you all later.